What's going on, guys? Wrestling Talk here, back again. And a lot of times in the wrestling business, a lot of wrestlers can be the biggest marks in the business. We've had it a lot of times as fans on Twitter, on any social media. And if you question these wrestlers, like, oh, you never worked here, you never, whatever. They say you never worked in WWE or any wrestling promotion, so you won't know what the ins and outs, whatever. Are the same fans, are the same wrestlers that bitch about all these airlines and hotel rooms and car rental places. But I'm not going to go on about that. But what I am going to talk about is that last night Mick Foley did a video on his Facebook page saying that WWE has a problem. Um, and Mick, they've had a problem for over a decade. For the past 12, 13, 14 years they've had a problem. It's just been a slow decline that they've had. And a lot of examples, people say, oh, well, it's because of the TV, because it's not PG, it's not TV-14, it's a PG product. You can still have a good show with a PG product. It's the guy who's atop of the food chain, Vince McMahon. Until Vince retires or dies in that chair, the WWE is going to be still the same as it's going to be. You look at all the budget cuts he's done recently, and this poorly managed NXT from not only him but Triple H, because at one point it was meant to be a developmental brand that you see these guys and girls, and you have them on NXT for a few months, and then you bring them onto the main roster, and when they get to the main roster, they're just like repackaged. They're not themselves, and it doesn't translate well with the audience. Now I know the main roster audience is bigger than the NXT audience, but you should be doing it as a creative team, especially Vince and Hunter. Especially Hunter, when he was giving these resources and money and energy and time, especially in a Karrion Kross. He was on NXT for a year, gets called to the main roster. He loses half his interest with his girl, and then he gets jobbed up to Jeff Hardy. Keith Lee gets sent back down to NXT because he's too stiff to work or whatever it was. And then he's had COVID and whatever is that other stuff. And then you look at people like Adam Cole, that was going to be a manager. No, he would have probably been a good manager. You know, Adam Cole's a good mic worker and whatnot. But he's good in the ring. He could have been in a good feud with Nakamura or whatever, but it's another guy that you let to the wayside. And I'm not just talking about that, but these old guys you bring in, these old guys that you're bringing back, like your Goldbergs. I've heard reports that Taker's coming back for that MSG show. Brock Lesnar, I don't mind you bringing back old stars, but do it like AEW does and actually spread these old guys could actually put over some of these young guys, like a Damian Priest, like a Drew McIntyre, like a Keith Lee, like a Karrion Kross, like a whoever, like a Big E, and they can establish those guys instead of putting the world title on them just because it's Saudi Arabia. Now I know you have a 10-year deal with Saudi Arabia, but you know I don't want to see like Goldberg being world champion. Like this isn't 1999 anymore. This is 2021. You need to start making stars and stop relying on your stars of the past. But the reality is that you're not in the business for making stars. Why would you make any stars when you've made $1 billion, got $1 billion deal with Peacock for 5 years? You're still on the USA Network. You're still on Fox, and you still got these sheep and marks and fans that are they're gonna sing your song, Vince, and they're gonna still buy your merch. They're still gonna come to the house shows and whatnot. And you're like, this is good shit, when it's not good shit, because 10 years ago you was getting 3 million viewers on your television show for Raw. 10 years later you're getting barely 2 million viewers. It's not, people can say, oh well, people are viewing on streaming services. Yeah, to an extent, but people still watch on cable TV. And it's not they're viewing habits that have changed. It's the product that has been so bad that's making people change the channel and making people go, because it's so bad. Like, you have Charlotte Flair being a multi-time women's champion. The Roman Reigns it took you 6 or 7 years to finally understand that Roman Reigns is better as a heel than a face. You keep catering to the indie and hardcore fan base for the NXT stand, especially calling it a third brand when it's lost its whole purpose of being a developmental brand. And now this report came out, like I said in my last video I did, about WWE not signing more independent wrestlers, which is fucking stupid and dumb. And just why? Because with every homegrown guy or girl you'll find there's maybe one guy in independence or girl that is ready to come to WWE and has charisma, has personality, has the it factor that you have in a pro wrestler. And you just want to sign homegrown guys that maybe not have the charisma and the personality. Now, I know people can say people on the independents are just spot monkeys, but for every person that does flips and kicks and is a Meltzer mark, there's a couple of independent wrestlers that can actually work and are actual personalities, i.e. MJF. And this whole thing with like third party ship with WWE, cannot be independent contractors because we are independent contractors, but we cannot be independent contractors because if we truly were independent contractors, if you let us work in Impact, New Japan, Ring of Honor, and let us have our Twitch and cameos. But yeah, leave you guys thoughts in the comments, guys.